Y'all ready? All right, let's do this. Good evening, Vicksburg. Welcome to your council's regular session. It's Monday, June 3rd, 2020. I'll call this meeting to order. If you join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll take a real quick moment of silence. And if you would do a roll call, please.
Trustee Olson.
Here.
Trustee Wagner. Trustee Kissinger.
Here.
Trustee Fields. Here. Trustee Reister. Here. President Pro Tem Keller.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here. We have a full house. I just would like to announce Mr. Wagner's excuse as Dana and Ryan welcomed in Nolan Thomas Wagner today, their new baby boy. So congratulations to the Wagners. We have an agenda in front of us. There's a couple of items that I'd like to add one. Council appointment recommendations. We'll do that under action items. So we'll make it 11. Let me just wait to hear what Michelle's got to put on it first, and we can do that in order.
Yes, President Frisbee, I would like to add resolution number 0603, 2024-02. Resolution to approve the addition of Michigan Cooperative Liquid Assets Security System as an approved investment option.
We'll make that 11C. And there was another addition also, Christian?
Yes, resolution 0603 2024-03, which would approve the master plan.
And I'll add 11D, council recommendations appointments.
President Frisbee, wouldn't that be 11E? We're doing resolution for
just-
the master plan.
You whispered in my ear 11D.
So 11.
11E, 11D is the appropriation, approved master plan. 11E is council appointments, committee appointments. Any other changes or additions with council? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move as amended.
Trustee Fields, I second.
We have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? We have an agenda. Thank you all very much. So we have scheduled appearances tonight. Mr. Jeff Anderson. He'll be introduced by Michelle Morgan.
Good evening, council. I put a packet out for each of you for the information regarding Jeff's presentation here shortly. And on the very top page, you'll see something that looks like this. This was an example of our other revenue category that I had given at the Citizens Academy that just finished up last week. And it has to do with interest on investment. And we wanted the citizens to know that the village investments must comply with Act 20 PA 1943 as amended, that the village has an established investment policy. Then in 2017, we started with CDs and then moved on, CDs, and then moved on to CDRs with approval from the village council. And as we began earning interest, you'll notice in 2022 we dipped a little bit. We went down to about $6,000, was about half of what we earned in 2021. A lot of that was due to interest rates because they were down, less than 1% and so on. The great thing about that was, though, in the $6,000 that we earned in interest, we were able to replace 2 laptop computers that were no longer viable. They were purchased in the end of 2016. So that was a great thing. So looking forward into 2023, we earned just over $36,000. And so in talking with Jeff Anderson and other treasurers in the state, Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association and the Kalamazoo County Treasurers Association, we wanted to think of what can we do in the future, how can we make this better? And so we're considering an Act 20 qualified investment pool, and everyone unanimously suggested Michigan class. And so that is why we have Jeff Anderson. He's a former treasurer for a township. He's also a great member of the MMTA and the KCTA. So I'd like to welcome Jeff Anderson. He'll be here to answer your questions and tell you about Michigan class. And at the end of his presentation, any of the questions you have directly, he'll be able to answer. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for having me tonight. I will try not to talk too loud. I've been known to have a loud voice. Matter of fact, I was at the MMTA conference last fall, and there's breakout rooms, and I was in a breakout room with a mic, and I said, I really don't need the mic, and they said, no, you need the mic, Mr. Anderson. Everyone needs the mic. 10 minutes in, the other room next to us could hear my voice better than their presenter, and they ripped the mic off of me, and I kept going. So if I talk too loud, you just tell me to tone it down. I'm here tonight on the request of Michelle to talk about the Michigan Class Local Government Investment Pool. I'll spend a few minutes just tell you what it is, what the history is about the pool, and then certainly open it up back to you all for any questions you may have. Back in 1992, a group of local treasurers in the state of Michigan came together under the Urban Cooperation Act of 1967 to work together to invest their money really with three things in mind. Number one, they wanted to work together to increase safety. They thought there was strength in numbers, and so the more they could get to work together, the safer they could invest their money together. Number two is liquidity. So there were some issues at times where folks needed operating cash and their money was tied up in an investment, whether it be a CD or a long-term treasury or things of that nature. So they wanted to create a pool that was liquid, meaning that if you had money in it and you needed the money tomorrow, you could get the money tomorrow. And then third, obviously, they wanted to achieve the highest yield they could working together. And again, it's that thing that if you work together and build that pot of money, you're able to hopefully earn a little bit more than you can on your own. So today, fast forward from 1992, there's 810 local units using Michigan Class. There's about $4.6 billion in the pool. Who makes up that 800 local units? It's a really nice mix of city, village, township, county, school district, water and sewer authorities, fire authorities, Kalamazoo County Central Dispatch is in the pool. Locally, off the top of my head, in the county, City of Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo Township, Kalamazoo County, Parchment, Portage, Comstock, Galesburg are all using the pool, some for several years. So well known throughout the state. So when we take back those three things that the pool was created for, number one is safety. So paramount to everything we do at Michigan Class is safety. Since 1992, no local unit of government has lost 1 penny in Michigan Class. So I'll say that again, no one has ever lost 1 cent. So while nobody can ever say any investment is 100% foolproof, we think it's as safe as you can get according to PA 20, which Michelle referenced, out of the 12 things you can invest in. The fund is AAA rated by Standard & Poor's. We get a rating weekly from them that does two things: assures the safety and liquidity of the pool, and also affirms that we're Public Act 20 compliant, which is the investment law for the state of Michigan. So safety, safety, safety is number one. Number two is the liquidity, and so Michigan Class is a liquid pool. So if you had $100,000 in the pool and you had to buy a couple of police cars in an emergency deal, the money is available at any time to be transferred to your bank account for spending. So there's no duration similar to a local bank CD, if you will, or a treasury that you buy for a specific period of time. So daily liquidity. And then number three is yield. Today, the pool is yielding 5.39%, which we think is extremely competitive in this market for a liquid product. And kind of a cool thing that Michigan Class does is we pay interest nightly. So if you had money in the pool today, you'd get an interest payment tonight, and then tomorrow you'd earn interest on that interest. So you get the compounding effect on your dollars in Michigan Class. There's a couple other nice features that are available to our local units. For our accounting folks like Michelle, is if you need to, you're able to track buckets of money separately. So for instance, when ARPA came out, we had lots of folks move their ARPA money to Michigan Class, and they wanted to track the interest on that separately. So we see capital funds, capital project funds, we see separate water and sewer accounts, and then some local units just have one and they have pooled cash and they manage it all themselves, which is completely fine. So that is an option. There is no minimum balance. There is no direct cost to join the pool. So there is no, if you are a participant in the pool, you become an owner of the pool. So there is no for-profit entity behind Michigan Class, if you will. It is owned by our 810 local units of government. We simply manage, get the money, pile it together in this huge ball of $4.6 billion and invest it with safety, liquidity, and yield at the forefront. So in a nutshell, that's how it works. We have local units with $1,000 in the pool. We have local units with $200 million in the pool, and everywhere in between. And everybody earns the same amount each and every night. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. President, for any questions.
Yeah, no, thanks. Is there any questions that anyone would like to throw out there?
You know, I get that all the time, and honestly, I was in Delta Township as a long-term finance director, and I thought the same thing when I joined. And so I'll be honest with you, some people say there's gotta be a negative. What is it? Michigan Class interest rate can change daily. Now we've seen, if you look back the last 18 months, it's been above 5%. But when, let's say there's a recession hits, and we will see interest rates fall. Now, historically, we've still outperformed many similar investments that are allowed by PA20, but that I would say is the negative, is you're not locking in, you're trading in that locked in interest rate for the liquidity.
What do we currently, on average, is our CDARS rates paying?
Between the 2.25 and occasionally 3.
Quite a bit more. Quite a bit more.
This would be more.
Yes.
I think from my viewpoint, Michelle's on top of it so much, even in, I don't know if that's the worst case scenario, but a negative side scenario that you point out, the funds are liquid enough to move them back to a CDARS or other investment that might be more secure, and just keeping that forecast and radar out there if, and that's a huge if, that were ever to be needed.
Absolutely, 100%. Every dollar in the pool is available to be moved, spent, done with it, what you want, when you want to do it.
Yeah, I wanted to thank Michelle for the effort and diligence she put into continually looking for ways of the village to secure additional revenue, by being smart and committed to our money, so thank you.
I've got a quick question. Maybe you can answer this. I noticed that our two townships that we have, Schoolcraft and Brady, are not listed on here for townships. Have they been presented this as well?
Not in the last 4.5 years.
Okay. Just curious.
We'll put them on the list.
Well, we also have a fire authority here too that is 4 townships in Schoolcraft Village and Vicksburg Village, and I think this would be something that should be on the radar for the fire authority.
So how is the interest shared? Is it, you said it was paid nightly, so depending on your investment into it, you paid that percentage of your investment into it?
Correct. So if you had 100, let's say today the rate's 5.39. If you had $100,000 in the pool, tonight you'd get paid 100,000 times 5.39% divided by 365 days. and you'd get that interest payment into your account. You'd see it in there tomorrow morning.
So carrying that out, that 100,000, 1,070 some dollars would be the balance the following day. That would carry that balance times the 5.39 divided by 365. So that's where the compoundness
Yes.
comes in.
Correct.
What are the typical investments that you invest in? Are the ETFs or?
Good question. No, so all very short-term, very restrictive according to PA 20. So the pool is made up predominantly of U.S. Treasuries and agencies and top-tier A1 plus P1 commercial paper. Again, to create that liquidity, you need very short-term liquid products. And again, there are no stocks, there are no corporate bonds, none of that is even legal in the state of Michigan. It is the safest of the safe. And of that group of safest of the safe, we've got the best of the best credit analysts that really take that one step further. And that's why the track record's so good since inception in '92.
I have another question real quick, because my wife works for a financial manager. You manage the finances, or that you manage the investments. What's the, not that it matters, I guess, but what's the charge? Because obviously you're not doing it for free, so.
Great question. So I mentioned that there's no direct cost to our local units, right? There's no minimum balance, there's no transaction fees, there's no monthly fees. So what happens is Michigan Class is governed by an elected board of 13 participants, and it's a nice mix of folks throughout the state. Those 13 have signed an agreement with a company who I represent, Public Trust Advisors, that manage the money. They do Michigan Class in 13 different states now. The fee is 0.13%. So let's say today, for simple math, Michigan Class was on our website, we posted 5.5. That basket of investments earned 5.63%. So they take the 0.13. So I'll just give you some reference there. I was lucky enough to be one of those 13 on the Michigan Class board for about 7 years when I was in Delta Township. And first meeting I went to, I asked, is the 0.13, is that economical? Is it expensive? How does that compare? There's one other pool in the state of Michigan predominantly used by school districts. And the fee for that pool is 0.42, 3 times what Michigan Class charges. So the end result is, if we're paying 5.5, they're paying 5.2. Good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Anderson? Well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for bringing this. Thank you, Michelle, for your due diligence and chasing us down and bringing us this opportunity.
And again, this will be connected to the resolution that I think came in at 11D or 11C.
11C.
11C tied to it for council approval. So
there
we'll
is,
take
yeah,
that up then.
there is a request by staff to enter into this agreement with MI Class. What's his council's desire? Good to wait. Good to wait. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Congrats on your new building, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Pretty nice.
Is this where we should tell the financial guy that it's paid for in cash?
Yes.
Man after my own heart right there.
Seeing no public officials tonight, this would be a time for citizens' comments for the agenda items only. If you'd like to make a comment on the agenda, then now's your time to do so. Not seeing anyone step forward, we'll move on to a real quick. Thanks, Jeff. I'm really, really honored and excited to announce this. So the Village Council and citizens of Vicksburg, I'm pleased to announce a significant development in our ongoing efforts to ensure the safety and reliability of our water infrastructure. Thanks to the efforts of our village manager and to the unwavering support of Congressman Tim Walberg, the Village of Vicksburg has been listed as one of Congressman Walberg's member-designated projects full year '25. Months ago, our village manager began working on identifying funds for the second priority within the village to replace required water service lines and water mains fell under the lead line replacement legislation from the state of Michigan. This legislation requires all municipalities in the state of Michigan to replace on average 5% of the components over a 20-year period. This will ensure the components are replaced by 2038. The village of Vicksburg has estimated 650 service lines that are governed by this legislative requirement. During the significant infrastructure upgrade in 2021, we replaced approximately 95 service lines. We'll replace an additional 110 service lines with the infrastructure project that will begin this August in the neighborhoods north of the middle school. This $5.2 million project identified as priority number 2, all in the service lines, associated water mains that are bordered by Washington Street North, Michigan Street West, Kalamazoo Street East, and Highway Street South. Over 160 service lines and associated water mains slated for a replacement. We are taking proactive measures to address the state's unfunded mandate requiring the replacement of galvanized by 2038. It's imperative that we take action now to ensure compliance with these regulations and safeguard the health and well-being of our community. We anticipate once the full year 2025 federal budget is signed into law, $3.9 million will be identified as congressional directed spending on this Vicksburg project. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Jim Ballard for his diligence in the funding request, and especially thank Congressman Tim Walberg for his advocacy and support in identifying this project as one of the 15 projects he submitted within the member-designated projects full year 25. His commitment to addressing the infrastructure needs of our community is greatly appreciated and will have a lasting impact on the quality of life for all Vicksburg residents. As we move forward with this important initiative, I encourage continued engagement and support from our citizens. Together we can ensure a brighter and more sustainable future for our beloved village. So that is phenomenal, great news. So that will help us achieve our desired outcomes in this. Yep. And we have approval of our general consent agenda. Minutes from our regular council meeting, May 28, 2024. Warrant reports, event requests, there was none. Correspondence, there was none. Was there any corrections or additions or to the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
This is Trustee Kissinger. I motion to approve.
Support.
So we have a motion and support. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian.
Trustee Fields.
Yes.
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger. Yes. Trustee Olson.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. So we have some action items in front of us tonight. First is Resolution 0603-2024-01. Staff is recommending a motion of support. Roll call to approve this resolution. The resolution authorizes the Village of Vicksburg membership in the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool for a minimum of 3 years related to health benefits for employees.
Yeah, I just add, this is related to, at the last meeting, the council unanimously approved moving medical benefits to the pool. And this comes after that approval, a resolution that designates both myself and Michelle Morgan within it to be, if you will, the spokespersons to answer questions in that. It's a standard resolution that they require as a member of the pool.
President Frisbee, so moved.
We have a motion. Do we have support?
Support.
We have motion to support. We do a roll call, please, Christian? Questions, yes. Are there any questions or comments? I was quick on that one. We discussed it last week. So. Would you do a roll call, please, Christian?
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Olson.
Yes.
Trustee Fields. Yes. Trustee Kissinger. Yes. President Pro Tem Keller.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. 11B, a discussion about Washington Street possible transformation due to the new dam construction. Let Jim address this.
Yes, as in the last meeting in front of the council, engineers, or an engineer from Spicer Group working on behalf of the drain commissioner came and spoke in front of the council and answered the council's questions. Reference the project involving the dam at Sunset Lake. This project is a project overseen by the Drain Commissioner's Office and the Drain Commissioner. It has secured, I think, right about between 2.6 and 2.7 million dollars of ARPA funds to the dam, and that was presented last week, is in a state that needs to be replaced. Within that, there obviously are some investment or cost associated when you do a project like this. There are also technology upgrades. This dam, I believe he said, was over 100 years old. And certainly give appreciation to Jason Wiersma, our drain commissioner, for keeping the village of Vicksburg informed, though they are overseeing the project. One critical aspect, there will be options, about 3 options that are submitted to the state, I believe, to be reviewed, but it will be all through the drain commissioners. One of those options, and let's just option 1, would be what is in front here. What is motivating this is the structure replacement of the dam. What the engineer spoke about at the last meeting. Talked about the width and closeness to Washington Street. What that would impact is the culvert under Washington Street, which would have to be bigger, wider, deeper, and constructed to today's specifications. Estimated cost of the culvert alone is about $800,000 that potentially the village of Vicksburg would bear. So in those conversations, which that is an option as well, to find funds if we know where those are. Currently, we don't have them. Would be to have that, and it would impact what type of weir system was built. This is, for the investment, the most practical, not to have the culvert. This is a elementary conceptual drawing. It's a project that would go to bid within the next 6 to 8 months, and construction starting in the fiscal year 25 with completion no later than December of 26. So it's early on, if you will, in the overall project, but the goal of the drain commissioner is to certainly submit these options. It's quite a lengthy process through Eagle in the state of Michigan, as well as there is my term, I guess I think it's a subcommittee or another aspect of Eagle that is specifically oversees construction of dams. So we talked at the last meeting to bring forward a drawing. We did want to present that to the council tonight. Still educating ourselves up. I do anticipate the next meeting on June 17th to have further explanation on this project, as well as what we would be presenting in front of the council is for a vote of support to submit the options to the state of Michigan and begin that process. But this would, we've done engineered traffic counts on Washington Street, both west and east of the dam, as well as Mill Street. Looked at patterns in that. We anticipate no negative consequence of that. We have, again, this is what the computer generated for a pedestrian bridge, but it would be I think a little bit more elaborate than what shows up on the drawing. We did start the process and submitted requesting a state fiscal year 25 appropriations for $500,000 on this project. It's at the early stages of that request. So we'll update as that moves forward through Senator McCann's office, but we certainly wanted, as we said at the last meeting, to bring forward and have a discussion where we are right now with the emphasis on this is a drain commissioner's project, so. I don't, yeah, that's fine, but can you have a seat?
Well, I just wanted to show me something real quick.
No,
This is my house right here. Sorry I bothered him.
I don't, are you talking to me or to?
Quick question.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions after.
I can see you busy.
I'm sorry?
I can see you busy, so go ahead.
Did you want this?
I'd like to.
Sure.
Is there any further questions of Jim or staff?
Okay, and I'll be happy to meet you right after the meeting's concluded, okay? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. So the resolution in front of us tonight, there's just a discussion, right? Yeah. 11C would be the resolution, Act 20 investment pool. MI class, excuse me.
President Frisbee, does Michelle have a copy of that resolution she can read out again?
Yeah, I just was looking for it.
For 800 funded participants, ranging from the very large to the very small, with nearly 4.7 billion in shares outstanding. And whereas this investment has no restrictions regarding withdrawals or contributions, affording the Village of Vicksburg the ability to use Michigan Class as its best suits our individual needs. Now, therefore be it hereby resolved that the Village Council approves the Michigan Class Investment Pool as an authorized investment institution, authorizes the village manager to complete the necessary paperwork to enroll in the pool.
President Frisbee, so moved.
Trustee Fields, support?
We have a motion and support. Would you do a roll call, please, Christian?
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger?
Yes.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
Trustee Reister?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes. Motion carries. So we have 11D. We have the master plan. Next step we have to take in adopting our master plan.
Yeah, if you can explain that, Christian, that's just,
Yes, so at the previous council meeting, we just did a roll call vote, but per state law, we have to approve it by a resolution. And it has been vetted by our village attorney Kaufman, and she signed off on the resolution.
Right. Thanks for your clarification. I was stumped for a minute. I thought. To entertain a motion to accept a resolution to approve the master plan.
Trustee Fields, so moved.
Trustee Kissinger, second.
Any discussion or conversation anyone would like to have?
Jim, when this is adopted, is this going to effect immediately?
Yeah, the master plan, would go in, I think the fiscal year.
25, 26 fiscal year?
July 1, yeah, 24, 25.
Thank you.
We have a motion and support. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. 11E was appointments, so I'm going to break them out a little bit differently. I've got one I would like to make a recommendation. Jessica Esther for the Parks and Recreation. Eister. Okay. I'd like to recommend Jessica Eister for the Parks and Recreation Committee. I talked to her today. She's really excited about this opportunity to work with the team, and she's a HR professional. You know, she's talent acquisition, employee relations, labor negotiations, and training. I think she'd be a really, really good fit. So I'm making a recommendation. What is this council's desire?
President Frisbee, I move to accept your recommendation.
Trustee Reister, support.
So we have motion and support. We do just a roll call, or voice call, right? Roll call, if you would, please, Christian.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Congratulations, Jessica. Now, I want to go over my recommendations for committee assignments. So if it's acceptable, I'm just going to read them all off. I'll leave it open for a motion and support and then discussion. And if any of you have a different mind, please let it be known at that time. So President Pro Tem, I'd like to appoint Carl Keller to continue for the next 2 years with Ryan Wagner as an alternate. Planning Commission, DDA, Chad Kissinger and Denny Olson as a alternate. Parks and Rec, Wendy Fields and Chad Kissinger as an alternate. Municipal Building Authority, Tim Frisbee and alternate Wendy Fields. South County Sewer, Tim Frisbee as a assigned member and Denny Olson as alternate. South County Fire, Carl Keller as member assigned and Tim Frisbee as alternate. Cats Committee, Tim Frisbee as primary and Carl Keller as alternate. Finance, I'd like Ryan Wagner, Tim Frisbee, and Denny Olson. Human Resources, Chad Kissinger, Wendy Fields, Tim Frisbee. White Kalamazoo, Bill Adams, District Library, Gail Reister, and Tree Committee, Gail Reister. So entertain a motion if you're so inclined for support of these nominations.
Trustee Reister, I so move.
Trustee Fields, support.
So as I said, we'll have an open discussion time. If there's anyone here who'd like to comment or change roles, now is your opportunity to do it.
President Frisbee, I am honored to do the DDA, but could you give me the days that I would be doing those?
Planning Commission is a second
Planning.
Monday of the month.
Second Monday. Okay, I know I asked that before. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Well, I entertain a roll call, if you would, please, Christian.
Trustee Kissinger,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Sounds like I'm more excited than he is. So without further ado, it jumps to committee reports. I don't believe anything. Am I missing something? Oh, yeah, I am missing it. 12, just, there it is. Jim, thank you.
Usually he skips me, so that's, you know.
Yes, thank you. Real quick, though, I wanted everyone, we did have a power surge, I would describe it as, at one of the back DPW building. It was an issue on the AEP side that we certainly will be filing a claim with them. Had some damage to some components, battery charger, as well as the electrical box. Definitely appreciate Dan Oswald, who I called and came right over that morning to get on top of it. Through those discussions, not the responsibility of AEP, I asked Dan to give me a multi-phase recommendations on appropriate power supply in that building. So I anticipate that coming in front of the council, but wanted you all to be aware that went on. To give you a heads up, 2 weeks from now, Monday, June 17th, at 6 p.m. will be a Brownfield Committee meeting, which all of you are a member of, and at that meeting we'll swear in Trustee Kissinger. We will have action items specific to the Brownfield related to closing out the fiscal year, opening the fiscal year, and as well as if a site plan is approved next week at the Planning Commission, we would have a different or additional recommendations to the Brownfield. So just to give you a heads up, 2 weeks is a Brownfield Committee meeting at 6 p.m. Now I am happy though to introduce our intern, Bella Pence, 2022 Vicksburg High School graduate, is going to Grand Valley State University in supply management. Some of you might recognize Bella. She has worked downtown at the Cone Top Brewery Museum and Mackenzie's Bakery, and certainly knowledgeable. Love the passion and energy. Going to have her focus on continuing to improve our avenues to communicate. One of the first projects is compiling current business, both text and emails for all our Vicksburg businesses, as well as working on our social media pages and different projects. We're going to have her also be focused on the community calendar that's on the website and what marketing and information help that we can get out as it relates to like the Vicksburg Cultural Arts programming, as well as the farmers market. I didn't inform Bella she'd have to say anything, but she certainly can speak. I just think it's a great addition to the team, and like we've told her, this is something for her to get as much as possible out of the experience, so I'm looking forward to it. But if Bella wants to say hi, she certainly can.
You don't mind standing up at the podium? Be careful.
Welcome to working with politicians, Bella. So.
Well, I think this is a good opportunity, and I look forward to it. And thank you for having me, letting me be an intern here. Appreciate it.
We're excited. We're excited to have you.
Seeing Bella around and in the events and everything else. So looking forward to it as well. So thank you very much. And we'll have considerable presentations coming on the 24-25 fiscal year budget on both June 17th and June 24th. So be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Jim. You must have been very efficient on that update that I was going to pass on. But. Committee reports. I don't believe there was a tree committee update.
No, I did get an email from Jim, and he is following through with what he said he would do, so we're moving forward.
Parks and Rec?
We actually have a meeting tomorrow evening. Going to do some reorganizing as Chad is going to be stepping down as the chairperson now that he's on the council. So we'll make sure we get another chairperson in and welcome Jessica Eister in as well.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes. And then this was kind of a bit unscheduled because of the holidays. We did not have a Parks and Rec meeting before our first movie night in the park. And we felt that it was important to get a meeting in so that we could all be ready for that first night.
I better let Jessica know, because I told her it was...
She does.
She does.
Yes, Chad made sure to notify everyone.
I did. President Frisbee, would
Thank
you
you.
like us to recommend a head of that committee, or our committee
Your
decides
committee-
that,
your
right? Okay.
committee decided, yeah.
I got to get my wires straight, you know.
No, absolutely. You have to work with them, so you pick them. There was no real CATS update to speak of. Planning Commission is,
There's not been a meeting, there's a meeting next week.
yeah, next week. And South County Sewer, you have an update for that, right? Excuse me, a fire?
Oh, we
That
have a
was our
meeting on,
last meeting,
we have a
didn't we?
meeting on the 19th, so,
All right.
and I will bring up this new investment opportunity at that meeting, so.
Good idea. And I wasn't available to go to the sewer meeting, and Christian Wines attended on our behalf, so I'll give him a quick minute.
Yes, Jason Washler spoke on the sewer project, but the board did not take a vote. The proponent, or the main one he spoke on, was trying to purchase property around Sprinkle and Nash for the lift station, but no vote was taken. They did vote to invest money in a CD, though, but they didn't choose a bank.
All right, thank you, sir. Now is the time for citizens' comments for non-agenda items or anything they would like to speak to right now. If you'd like to speak and address to the council. If you would, if you don't mind stepping up so we can hear you at the podium. If you would state your name and address, please.
My name is Gary Cochran. I live at Mill Street. And one of the things I hardly understood a word you said. There's too much echoing in this building. I think maybe if you had some
We're working
acoustics.
on that, sir. We're working on that.
Oh, okay, so you do know
We
that
acknowledge
problem. Okay, so that's one of the things, so okay, so that I could hear what was going on. I didn't understand too much what was going on because to me, there's nothing but echoing in here.
Right.
Okay. This map, it would have been, what is this? Is this, there's,
Just the turnaround.
excuse me? I don't, I couldn't hear.
You know, if you don't mind, I would ask that we, the three of you, Jim and you two, just meet in Jim's office after this. You can hear a lot clearer, and we can discuss. Jim would be more than happy to discuss it with you. Just just a couple of minutes. And be aware that this is not a village design project. You know, it's coming from the drain commissioner, so there are options that we've presented. But we'll just hang tight, and then Jim will come see you. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, we'll start trustees' time, then we'll start with Mr. Olson.
We got the vintage market this weekend down at the pavilion on Saturday morning, so I hope you all get a chance to come down. We do have a cotton candy and popcorn vendor that started this year, so we're happy to have him. Sorry it's a little late. I was up in Plainwell. I've been up north all day, Grand Rapids and Martin and Gun Lake and Plainwell, and Matt Hall was having his monthly meeting at the library, so I went and sat in on it for 45 minutes and listened to what he had to say about our governor and electric bikes and electric buses and how we should get rid of the school buses because half the parents drive their kids to school, so why do we need buses? And lively conversation. And I don't know if Gail's going to mention the library this weekend or not, but yeah, so I'll be there, Gail, like always. So thank you.
Trustee Kissinger.
No comments today.
Trustee Fields.
First, I want to congratulate the Wagners on their new little bundle of joy. Hopefully, everything will go smooth and they'll get some sleep and all of that fun stuff. Also, wanted to mention the fact that Congressman Tim Walberg picked Vicksburg, one of 15 projects that he had to do, and he picked Vicksburg for one of those. That is very telling to the things that Vicksburg has been doing. That's kind of put us on the map with a lot of people. So it's wonderful to get that support from them and recognize the hard work that went into that by Mr. Mallory and his staff to keep that lines of communication open so that those opportunities are being done on our behalf. Also, just wanted to say, looking forward to the car show this weekend. That's kind of the birthday was the kickoff. Now we're going to the car show, and then we'll be starting the second year of the Berg Days of Summer. It's just, last year was such a wonderful success, and I anticipate that this year will be even better as more people find out how exciting life in Vicksburg is. So thank you.
Thanks. Trustee Reister.
Of course, I'm going to plug the book sale at the library. That is starting this Friday. It will be Friday and Saturday from 10 o'clock till 5 p.m. And then on Monday, we have $2 a bag sale from 10 until 1. So I invite everybody in the community or outside of the community to come and shop at, and with prices that are very, very low. You can find just about anything you would want there. So I'm hoping to see lots of people come out. I'm hoping for really good weather too for the car sale. And I also would like to say that I'm always so amazed about what our staff here can do for us. Getting that grant is so unbelievable. And I know that most of the people in the community don't know about these things. But we're very fortunate to have a village manager who is on top of things. So thank you, Jim, and everybody else that works for him. Thank you very much.
President Pro Tem Keller.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Ryan and his wife on their new addition. I'd also like to be the first to announce publicly that I've heard there's a new Irishman running around, not directly running around, but is now part of the Mallory family. So Jim is now a proud papa or grandpa or whatever of a brand new baby boy. So congratulations to you and Stephanie on a new addition to your family. I do want to let everybody know that I got a text from my daughter-in-law who moved back from North Carolina in October asking if the Berg Days were this Wednesday because they're already fired up about attending, and I had to tell them, nope, it's next week, not this week starting. So we'll have at least 2 Keller kids running around downtown along with my son and his wife. The car festival obviously starting this weekend. That's to me the kickoff of summer, and so looking forward to that. I also want to congratulate the staff and Jim for this funding from the federal budget that was appropriated by Tim Wahlberg's office, that project. People don't understand this is an unfunded mandate. We have to do it. There are a lot of communities that have not gotten on board and tried to secure funding, and we have been way ahead of the curve on that. So kudos to the staff. Also, with the new investment opportunity, Michelle, I really appreciate you bringing that to our attention tonight. And this is definitely something, I've said it already, but the fire authority, I'm definitely going to bring that to them, because that's something that I think we could really take advantage of. So, thank you.
One of the problems of going late is everybody said everything I wanted to say, so. Michelle, really, really fine job, what you're doing for this community. We appreciate all your efforts. Ryan Wagner and Dana, congratulations, new child. Jim, congratulations, being a grandpa for the second time is pretty awesome stuff. A lot of good things going on in the village. The downtown looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, so I'm excited for what's going on. Just, you know, people acknowledge what the village is doing. You know, Tammy Bryant, the owner of Village Therapy, just sent Jim a nice thank you note. You know, thanks for all you do and your staff and supporting all the businesses. So it's just nice to get a letter of thanks once in a while. You know, people acknowledge what this community's doing and where we're going and how we're growing. So with that, and of course, Congresswoman Wahlberg, thank you so much, and Jim, and your diligence to chase out. I know you've been working on this for quite some time, so thank you. With that, any further conversation, entertain a motion. I've also been told that I've taken too long in my meetings, and Carl was, all his virtues, you know, about how quick he ran the last meeting when I was gone, so I think I got another 4 minutes to kill here. All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for being here.